It's one of those things that is kind of lost, and it's kind of getting lost in the digital age. It's almost like art, like in art in a way. Like art from schools have been removed, and it's good that we have different people in the community that's also highlighting art and actually joining us. We actually have Patty Norozny, excuse me, Patty Norozny, executive producer of the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, joining us on the show. How are you, Patty?
Good morning. Yeah, thank you so much for bringing that out and for bringing being a lifelong advocate of reading. I'm a lifelong
Mhm.
advocate of art. Just like
Yes,
you
yes.
said, reading is being pulled out of the schools or not as important. Art has been taken out of the
Mhm.
schools for many years. And that's why one of the reasons at the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show, now in our 21st year in July in West Bloomfield, yay! Top
Congratulations.
100, 12 times in a row in the country. We have a youth art competition for students in grades K through 8 or ages 5 to 13 as a
Okay.
way to expose them to the entrepreneurship opportunity of doing art shows for a living. So this program was integrated within the event. I would say back in 2004, the second year after we had our first year in 2003, the Orchard
Mhm.
Lake Fine Art Show. And it's the way we expose students to the rules, learning about art. They get to come to the show, speak with the professional artists in the show, and see what inspires them. And it's an opportunity for kids to do something they love for a living and earn a living from it. So, hello.
And that's great. Like we said, we just transitioned from reading into art, and how it's been missing from the schools. The youth are not immersed in art like they used to, which is very, very important. And here with the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show, by the way, voted consistently ranked top 100 art shows in America, by the
Yeah,
way, and right
big
here
time,
in West Bloomfield.
big
Yes, yes,
time.
absolutely. So, with that being said, you only bring in juried artists, if I'm even saying that right. What does that mean for an artist to be jury and qualify for your show?
Well, juried is different term for all the shows across the country. Okay.
Okay.
So we're Hot Works, and the way we bring great artists to this event is back in 2006. Remember when we had the big recession? Uh,
Hmm.
we I had an opportunity to start shows in Florida. So in Florida, we have the Boca Raton Fine Art Show, which is voted also top 100 art shows in the nation, and Sarasota Fine Art Show, which was our savior during COVID when the entire country was being shut down and Florida was open. We had
Hmm.
spots that were not open, and this Sarasota City was closed, but this Sarasota Park, where we host the show, Philippia State Park in South Sarasota, was open, and we were able to slam in 5 shows during COVID. And I can't tell you how much it is important for people uh, uh, to see art with the visual eye. And,
Correct.
the artists all try to sell online. Some sell online, some don't sell online, but it is now more than ever the importance of the art shows because of the patron artist relationship. So for us, juried is all work must be original and personally handmade by the artist in the show,
Okay.
number one. Number two is, number two, three, four would be based on they have to submit 3 images of their most compelling work in one of their booth presentation as they would set up at the show. So it's based on
Mm.
originality, technique, execution, and booth appearance. I am the curator for the show. I have been, when I started the show at Orchard Lake, I used to do events downtown Detroit, America Taste Fest, which is out of business, Detroit
Right, right.
Festival of the Arts, which is out of business. I would be the
Ah.
perfect person to bring back Detroit Festival of the Arts because I'm a Wayne State graduate and I'm from Detroit. Um, so that's what jury means to us. There's something called Zapplication. It's application with the letter Z in front of it. If
Okay.
artists want to go to zapplication.org, actually, I'm going to an art show directors conference at the end of the month in April to Oklahoma City, which has a great, phenomenal show there, to a conference run by Zapplication will be present, along with Robin Markowitz from Art Links, and she has a show, Bethesda, I think it's in the Boston area. So she's actually putting on that event. And this is where the show directors get together and compare notes. But Zapplication is where the artists go and sign up for online jurying, and they would look there's a whole list of shows. But the
Mm.
artist must keep in mind, jury does not mean juried. And even though many of the shows say, oh, you have to make your work, we constantly find buy, sell, import mixed along with the juried artists, which is totally
Ah.
unfair. So
Oh,
some
wow.
shows say, well, basically, they mislead, I'll say, not only the artists, but the patrons in the show. And I've been in this business a long time. So guess who gets all the complaints? Me, because I listen. And then I'll go going, we talk, this is a big subject that's always on the Art Show Directors Conference list or agenda to discuss. So I'm one of the show directors in the country that takes
Mhm.
a lot of time with artists. So I look and, if I'm unclear, like I was unclear with a couple jewelers recently, I
Mhm.
reach out to other people in the show, especially Herb Brown from Tampa. Well, actually, he lives in the panhandle of Florida now, but he'll be at the show. He's an excellent jeweler. And he's one of the artists that I rely on because jewelry really is the number one thing that you have to look at that's not handmade. And
Right.
so
Mm.
so if I see something, I'm really good at it because I've seen so much and I have multiple shows. So I was trained excellent by Ann Kuffler from Ariana Gallery, if you remember her from way back, a
Okay.
top-notch photographer, Les Slesnick. He's the only photographer in the world that has won an award at all the top art shows in the nation. He was
Mm.
behind us for 8 years. So that's how I learned a lot besides going to all these shows. I go to a lot of shows in Florida, a lot of shows in Michigan. I'm going to Oklahoma City. Ann Arbor is a wonderful show to go to.
Mhm.
But even if you go to that show, you're going to see University, top notch, the original show. That's top notch.
Mhm.
And then you go next door and it's loaded with junk and China next to an artist who's actually making their work, and it's not fair. So,
Correct.
but this is how you learn. And Zapplication.org is where professional artists go to apply. And the deadline for professional artists is April 1st. So a lot of times when I'm judging, I see, okay, nice image, the three images of their most compelling work in one of their booth presentation as they would set up at the show. So sometimes you look and it's like, okay, the work's nice, okay. And then you get to the like jonky booth, okay. And I'm one of the people that take a lot of time and call them up. And it's no one in the like there's three of us in the country who care like this and will take because it's
Right.
a lot of time. It's about an hour to 2 hours going back with the artist, no, and I send him to Larry Berman Photography, his
Mhm.
website, which is Larry's a photographer who actually takes a photographer of the images. But Larry has a lot of examples on his website how to submit your booth for jury and how to submit your images for jury. Because the images, like if it's a necklace, we want to see the necklace really close up or the glass piece really close up. But if people are not asking for a booth presentation, then you can't
Mhm.
like pull all their work together with the eye to see what it's going to look like at the show, which is really important.
Yeah.
Going back to the kids competition, it's for grades K through 8. We
Mhm.
started this in 2004. Um, And again, it's the way we expose students to the rules and entrepreneurship of doing art shows for a living. We want to
Correct.
thank West Bloomfield Schools for being part of it. And then there's Miss Lindsay from the, she has an art classroom at Steinway Piano and Commerce in the
Mhm.
basement there. He has art lessons for kids, so everyone to know about that. She gets usually 20, 30, 40 kids alone involved every year. So, and then on Sunday, so we ask all the kids, there's an application on hotworks.org. You click kids art, and we ask that the kids, it's for K-8 or ages 5 to 13, $3 to enter, but they get a family pass to come to the show for no charge because it is $5 admission, 13 and under are free.
Right.
But that admission also gets them for in and out access, okay, throughout the event. So if they want to go home and think about it and come back. So
Right.
anyway, the deadline for the kids is July 1st. And it's a great program. It's a I made the program up just again, I was seeing how the schools are not really showing, that there could be a real good business opportunity. And
Correct.
trust me, a lot of artists struggle, and you hear that. And this, in every show, some artists do not do well, and some artists do great, and some artists do phenomenal. And but they take a long time. It's a lot to you know, get to know what you're doing, and it's a whole
Mhm.
learning lesson. And so this kids program is really good. I want to make a shout out to this kid, Nalan. I call him Dalin Nalan. He
Now,
is me, ISME. He's on Instagram and Facebook, Nalan, NALIN is me, ISME. You can let him know Patty referred him. And he's a kid. He's 15 now, like this tall. And he started with us at age 5 because of the youth art competition. The
right.
family lives in Fort Myers, came to the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show last year because Nowlin we've had students on and off, but Nowlin's been with us for 10 years. And
Mm.
he sells, we donate a space to him, and he sells his work at the shows. He has a book that he wrote at age 5. He sells it at the shows, and he there have been shows with us because he does our Florida shows mostly, but they came to Michigan last summer. I hope he
Uh-huh.
comes to Michigan this summer. And he sells like a piece for $2,200 now, and he's age 15. And his work starts at, I think, about $125 for an original
Okay.
piece. Oh, you have a second? I got his work on my wall.
Yeah, no problem. But before we get out of here, I do want you to grab that if you don't mind. But before we get out of here, I just want you to emphasize a nationally recognized event like the Fine Arts Craft Show. Can you just talk about why you chose West Bloomfield with the recognition that you have? Why specifically West Bloomfield?
Oh, well, I'm from Detroit. I was doing a whole bunch of Detroit shows, like I mentioned. And then an artist mentioned go on your own. And so I live in White Lake sometimes.
Mhm.
Now I'm in Florida most of the time. I'm from Florida right now. But I'm going to be coming back to Michigan May 1st. I've been working on the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show all year. Um, 2 weeks ago, I went to another major event, Gasparilla, in Tampa, and I'm promoting the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. So that's how we bring artists. Besides, they have the shows down here. So I'm well known in the industry. Why? Because I live in White Lake. My husband lives in White Lake. I live here, and we just, you have to have a high end area. So we did start at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and we outgrew the location. And we've
Mhm.
been in West Bloomfield since 2008. No, this is 2013 or 2012 since West
Okay.
Bloomfield. And Roy Schellenberg, many West Bloomfield homeowners have Roy Schellenberg's work in their house. I know because Roy was top-notch painter, and he was one who got me involved in doing more shows. He did the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show the first year, and he approached me and said, Patty, we need you. How can you do more shows? And so that's why we're in Boca Raton because of Roy Schellenberg. And we actually had a show in Charlotte, North Carolina, and don't anymore, but that was because of Roy. But Roy was also part of my team for 8 years until he passed suddenly from, unfortunately, from cancer. But he's got a lot of paintings in West Bloomfield and Oakland County. He was the king of paintings. He had the big paintings and was wonderful and inspirational to me. So, and that's how, the kids who are out there looking to do it. You got to look at the artists who you love, and
Right.
you know, stay with positivity. Stay with people are going to put you in the right direction, and you have to learn from those people too, because the schools aren't always the best. So that's how I learned
Uh,
this, was hands on. And
yes, ma'am.
yeah.
And thank you for that. And that's the major points that we want to touch on as we transition from, some of the things that were lost from the school, art being a very major part of it, because creativity is something that we all need to utilize on more of a frequent basis than we think, especially starting at a young age. So we got to wrap up. Unfortunately, I wish we had more time, Patty, but before we do, please just give people that information one more time. Hotworks.org, correct?
The show is located on Towers and Daly Road, which is south of Maple, just west of Orchard Lake Road, right by the old Beaumont Medical Center, which is now called Covenant Health. There's plenty of parking behind there. And they go into that health center parking lot and
Right.
pretend they're driving all the way through. It's going to take you to the entrance of the show on Daly Road. So it's July 27 and 28, Saturday 10 to 6, Sunday 10 to 5. If the artists want to apply, they go to zapplication.org. They look for the Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. We want to thank West Bloomfield, Steve Kaplan, Debbie Binder, Civic Center TV, you, Kevin. Thanks for this great interview. See you, Art Lover. Bye, Art. See you
Absolutely.
there.